Welcome back to West Texas View.
Welcome back to the West Texas View. This has been so interesting talking about vitamins. And Dr. Melinda Morris with the Texas Tech University Health Science Center also, is both a teacher in the School of Medicine, but also has private practice through the clinic at the Texas Tech University Health Science Center at the well, for goodness sakes.
Jenna Welch Center.
Jenna Welch Center in Midland. And so you can see the name rolling across the screen that'll give you the address and number that you can reach her at. But in the meantime, we've been talking about vitamins, and one of the interesting things that my gynecologist and Abilene had said to me one time was, you don't overtake. You need to really understand what you're taking and what you need, and that's part of the things that you work with your doctor about, because not just because you take a multivitamin doesn't mean that you don't also need to take some of the other supplements. And so, so she was cautioning not to overtake certain vitamins, because if I did, I would simply urinate excess out into the commode. So what is your thoughts about that?
Well, there's two types of vitamins. There's your water-soluble vitamins, and then there's your fat-soluble vitamins. Now, your water-soluble vitamins are your B vitamins, your vitamin C. You know, they're in your multivitamins, and they're the ones that, you know, if you take a little bit more than you need, then you're just gonna wash it right out. And depending on the amount of stress you're under, it depends on how much you need on a daily basis. So your vitamin requirements change on a daily basis depending on your activity. Your B vitamins are your stress vitamins. And so I tell women the more stress they're under, the more B vitamins that they need to have. Now you can actually measure, you know, some of the B vitamin levels, like your B12 levels, you know, to see if you actually have a B12 deficiency, your folic acid levels. Folic acid is actually vitamin B9. You know, so some of those levels can actually be measured. And if you're deficient, then you're going to need more than just maintenance to correct that deficiency. Now your fat-soluble vitamins are your vitamin A, vitamin E, vitamin D. And those are the ones that are stored in fat cells. So you can take too much of those vitamins. And so it's your vitamin A, E, and D that you really need to monitor your intake on. You can actually have those levels measured to see if you're deficient and monitor your treatment so that you maintain
Offer
a
3,
normal
save
level and you're not
$500
developing
off purchase of
toxic levels,
$3,000 or more.
because there are
Offer
adverse
4,
side effects from
have dinner
toxic
on us
levels
with
of
a
those
minimum
vitamins.
purchase
So
this
those
January
vitamins
at
require
Miller Walter
monitoring,
Furniture
where
and
your
Carpet and
other
Hob.
water-soluble
Beauty
vitamins,
rooms you can't wait to
you
get
don't
home
have to
to.
worry about those.
So is this something that is normally done in the testing when you go to a doctor, the vitamin levels, or is this something you have to ask for?
You're going to have to ask for it. I wish it was becoming, you know, just kind of part of your annual assessment, you know, but you can certainly request to have your levels checked. And then when I document, you know, vitamin D deficiency in women, I'm going to be putting them on more than just their recommended daily dose, because it's going to take a higher dose than just 400 units of vitamin D to correct that deficiency. They're going to need at least 1,000 to 2,000 units daily. Some ladies need even 5,000 units daily to correct their deficiency. And then once the deficiency is corrected, then you want to put them on a maintenance dose so that they can maintain normal levels.
Well, I had a severe deficiency with iron, and I thought it was because I didn't eat meat.
Yes.
I mean, I eat some, but not very much. And so he put me on 3 times the amount of iron at the beginning until I got it built up, and then I haven't had any problems. I still take a iron tablet a day, but he said that I was so terribly deficient in that.
Yeah, depending on the degree of your deficiency, it's going to take a higher dose to correct that, and then you can just do a maintenance dose after that. But you can be taking a daily vitamin and still have deficiencies. because there may not be enough in that daily vitamin to correct your deficiency.
And that's why the annual assessment should include a vitamin and mineral assessment.
Yeah, at least a vitamin D level. I'm checking that, and then some of the B vitamins as well. Your B12, your folic acid levels.
Well, you had already mentioned how important it was to your general health, but also doesn't vitamins have to do with your weight management also? Because if you're not getting enough vitamins, don't you crave the wrong foods or something?
Well, sometimes you're actually craving the foods that contain the vitamins and minerals that you need. One of the most efficient minerals that we have in our body is magnesium. Magnesium is very important. And one of the reasons women crave chocolate sometimes is that chocolate has a high level of magnesium. So sometimes, you know, you're actually craving.
You need to listen to that body.
The body's saying, you know, please give me some magnesium. You know, so you start craving chocolate. So you need to listen to your body, and sometimes, you know, the body is telling you what it needs. You know, but we're not big milk drinkers anymore. You know, we used to get calcium through dairy, and a lot of women, you know, they have intestinal trouble. They can't tolerate it, especially as you get older. You drink less and less dairy, you know, so you're not going to have the calcium supplementation through your diet, and you're going to have to take additional supplementation to maintain normal levels. And especially when women start going through menopause. Women start losing bone in their mid-30s. It just accelerates once you go through menopause because estrogen slows down the breakdown of bone. So when you go through menopause and your estrogen levels drop, then your bone loss accelerates. And that's why women start developing osteoporosis. So it's so important in menopausal women, especially if they're not going to be on any estrogen replacement, to be on at least 1,200 to 1,500 milligrams of calcium daily. I measure a vitamin D level on them to make sure that they've got adequate vitamin D, because if they're deficient in vitamin D, they're not going to absorb the calcium that they're taking.
But it's better
from
birth on to get the proper amount of vitamins rather than to go back and try to take some kind of medication to build up your bones after you're in your 50s, because they all have side effects no matter what.
They all have side effects.
We're going to have to take a quick break right now. We'll be back in just a minute and continue this conversation.
Stay tuned. West Texas View will be right back.
Texas Transportation Commission